Cancel it, I said. The young man at the bank blinked at me like he did not hear well. Ma'am, cancel every card linked to my name, I repeated. My voice was calm, but my hands were steady like stone. Every single one. Right now. Before we continue, please comment where you are watching from and subscribe so you can hear more stories like this. On the table in front of me were 4 shiny credit cards. 2 belonged to my son, Peter. 1 belonged to my daughter-in-law, Naomi. The last one was for family emergencies. They called it that. I called it a leash. The banker looked down at his screen. These cards have high limits, he warned, trying to sound helpful. If I cancel them, the accounts will be frozen immediately. I leaned closer. That is the point. He pressed a few keys. Then he paused. Ma'am, there are pending charges. A hotel reservation, a designer store, and an electronics shop. If I freeze the cards, the payments will fail. I nodded once. Let them fail. The banker clicked the final button. A small message popped up on his screen. He read it quietly. All lines suspended. I did not smile. I did not clap. I simply breathed out, slow and deep, like I had been holding my breath for years. Because just yesterday, they had stood in my living room and told me I should live less comfortably. Mom, you do not need all this, Peter had said, waving his hand at my home like it offended him. The nice furniture, the new curtains, the help that comes twice a week. You are old now. You should simplify. Naomi had nodded so hard her earrings shook. Yes, Mama. At your age, comfort makes people lazy. You should learn to manage with less. It will build character. Build character. They said it like I was a child who needed a lesson. What they did not say was the real reason. They did not say, we need more money for ourselves. They did not say, we are drowning in debts. They did not say, we have been using your credit like it is our salary. Instead, they tried to shame me, the same woman who raised Peter alone when his father died. The same woman who worked, saved, and built a life when everyone told me I could not. So I did not argue yesterday. I did not shout. I did not cry. I only nodded and said, you are right. Then I came here today and cut off their credit line. And now, as I walked out of the bank, my phone began to buzz in my handbag. One call, then another. Then a message popped up. Peter, Mom, did you do something to the cards? My payment didn't go through. Another message arrived before I even reached my car. Naomi, Mama, please call me. It's urgent. I opened my door and sat down slowly. My hands did not shake. My heart did not race. I looked at the bright morning sky and whispered, let their comfort vanish first. I started the engine. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was a video call. I did not answer. Not yet. Before I tell you how they pushed me to this point, comment where you are watching from. And if you have ever been told to manage with less by people who enjoy your kindness, stay with me. This story has a lesson you will not forget. It did not start at the bank. It started months earlier, on a quiet Sunday, the kind of day that should have felt peaceful. Peter came to visit with Naomi and their 2 children, Mia and Joel. The kids ran into my house like it was their playground. I loved that. I always kept biscuits in a jar for them. I always kept juice cold in the fridge. Naomi walked in behind them, looking around like a judge. Mama, she said, your house is always so neat. Thank you, I replied, smiling. She touched my sofa with her fingertips. This looks expensive. It is comfortable, I said simply. Peter sat down and sighed like a tired man. Mom, the kids love coming here, he said, but we need to talk about something. That was the first time I felt the air change. I wiped my hands on my apron. Talk about what? He glanced at Naomi, then back at me. Things are tight. You know the economy. Everything is costly. School fees, fuel, rent. I nodded. Yes, it is hard for many people. Naomi leaned forward. Mama, we have been managing, but it's not easy. We were thinking, since you have good credit, it would help if we had a card for emergencies. Emergencies, Peter repeated quickly. Just for emergencies. I looked at their faces. Peter's eyes were soft, the way they used to be when he wanted something as a boy. Naomi's smile was polite, but her eyes were sharp. I thought of my grandchildren. I thought of Peter as a child, how I once skipped meals so he could eat well. So I said yes. The first card became 2. 2 became 3. Every time they asked, it sounded reasonable. Mama, Mia needs a laptop for school. Mom, Joel's hospital bill needs to be paid now. Mama, it's just this month. Next month will be better. And for a while, I believed them. At first, they paid small amounts back. Then they paid nothing at all. Still, I stayed quiet. I told myself, they are family. This is what mothers do. But then the little signs began. One day, Naomi posted a picture online. She was smiling in front of a new salon mirror, her hair shining, her nails perfect. The caption said, "Self-care is important." Self-care. I stared at the screen and remembered how she said comfort makes people lazy. Another day, Peter arrived late to my house. He had a new watch on his wrist. When he raised his hand to greet me, the watch caught the light like a small flash. "It's nice," I said. He quickly pulled his sleeve down. "Oh, this old thing," he lied. The lowest moment came when I opened my mailbox and found a letter from a credit company. It was not a friendly letter. It was a warning. Past due. My stomach turned. I sat at my kitchen table and read the numbers again and again. They were not small numbers. They were heavy numbers, the kind that can crush a person's peace. I called Peter. He answered like nothing was wrong. "Hi Mom." "Peter," I said carefully, "I got a letter. It says the payment was missed." There was silence. Then he sighed, slow and annoyed, like I had bothered him. "Mom," he said, "relax. It's just one payment. I told you things are tight." I swallowed. "But this is in my name." "Exactly," Naomi's voice cut in from the background. She must have been listening. "Mama, you worry too much. You have savings. You will be fine." That was the day I started keeping notes. Dates, amounts, stores, payments missed. Not because I wanted to fight them. Because I finally understood something important. People who enjoy your kindness will call it comfort when they want you to feel guilty. And they will keep taking until you stop them. So I planned quietly. I did not shout. I did not announce anything. I simply watched and listened. Then came yesterday, when they visited and told me to live less comfortably. They stood right where I could see my late husband's photo on the shelf. They acted like they were teaching me wisdom, like they were helping me grow. But I heard the truth behind their words. They wanted me to suffer a little so they could enjoy a lot. And that is why I sat in the bank this morning. That is why I said, cancel it. Now, as I drove home, my phone rang again. This time, I answered. Peter's voice exploded through the speaker. "Mom, what did you do?" "We're at the hotel and the card got declined." I kept my eyes on the road. "Oh," I said softly. "That's strange." Naomi's voice jumped in, sharp and panicked. "Mama, please, you are embarrassing us. People are looking at us." I took a slow breath. "You told me to live less comfortably," I reminded her. So I decided to start with the credit line. There was a pause. A long, heavy pause. Then Peter said, in a low voice I did not recognize, "Mom, you have no idea what you just did." And right then, my phone lit up with a new notification from the bank. Alert. Attempted transaction blocked. Multiple attempts detected. At the same time, a car I did not recognize pulled into my driveway, and 2 men stepped out, walking straight toward my front door. One of them held a brown envelope. My heart finally moved. Because whatever was in that envelope looked official. And the men were not smiling. The moment I saw the 2 men at my door, my stomach tightened like a knot. I parked quickly, but I did not rush out like a scared child. I sat for 1 second and told myself, breathe. Think. Do not panic. Then I stepped out and closed my car door. The men turned toward me. They were both tall, wearing plain shirts and dark trousers. One had a small black bag. The other held the brown envelope like it was heavy. "Good afternoon, Ma," the one with the envelope said. His voice was polite but firm. "Good afternoon," I replied. I stood straight. "Who are you?" He lifted the envelope slightly. "We are here regarding a matter connected to your name. Are you Mrs. Martha Okoye?" "Yes," I said. "That is me." He nodded and looked at his partner. "Please, confirm the address." The other man glanced at a paper and said, "Correct address." My heart beat once, hard. A matter connected to my name. I already knew what this was about. The credit letter. The missed payments. The debt that was not mine, but was in my name. Still, I kept my voice steady. What is this? The man with the envelope held it out. You have been served. Served. That word can make a person feel small. It can make you feel like the world is against you. But I had raised a son alone, buried a husband, worked through pain, and built a home with my own hands. One word would not break me. I took the envelope. Thank you, I said. The man hesitated, then added, Ma, you should read it today. It is important. I will, I replied. They walked back to their car and drove away as calmly as they came. I stood there for a moment, feeling the warm sun on my face, holding that envelope like it was a snake. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. I did not need to check to know who it was. Peter, Naomi. Their comfort was vanishing, and they were desperate. I went inside and placed the envelope on my dining table. I did not open it right away. I washed my hands, poured myself a glass of water, and sat down. When you are afraid, rushing makes you weaker. Slow thinking makes you stronger. Finally, I slid my finger under the flap and pulled out the papers. The first page had big letters at the top. Notice of legal action. My eyes moved down the page. It was about unpaid debts connected to a credit account in my name. It said if the balance was not handled, there could be court action. My throat went dry, not because I did not expect trouble, but because I saw something that made my blood turn cold. The debt amount was much bigger than I thought. Much bigger. I flipped to the next page. Item list. Hotel. Electronics. Designer store. Restaurant bills. A travel booking. My hands tightened around the paper. These were not emergencies. These were luxuries. These were comfort. I heard Naomi's voice in my head again, sweet and sharp. At your age, comfort makes people lazy. I laughed once. It came out dry and bitter. Then my phone rang again, and this time I answered. Mom. Peter shouted. What is wrong with you? I kept my voice calm. Nothing is wrong with me, Peter. You cut the cards. He snapped. We're stuck here. The hotel manager is talking to us like we're criminals. Are you? I asked. Silence. Then Naomi grabbed the phone. Mama, please stop this now. This is not funny. People are watching. The children are scared. You should have thought about the children before using my name like a toy, I replied. Naomi's voice changed. It was no longer polite. So what do you want? Do you want us to beg? I looked at the papers on my table. I want the truth, I said. How much debt have you put on me? Peter spoke again, slower now. Mom, it's not like that. Then explain it, I said. He breathed hard into the phone. We were going to fix it, he said. We just needed time. How much? I asked again. He did not answer. That was answer enough. I ended the call. Then I did something I had not done in a long time. I cried. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just quiet tears that fell on my hands. Because the pain was not only about money. It was about respect. It was about betrayal. It was about the son I raised turning into a man who could ruin his own mother's peace and still shout at her like she was the problem. After I wiped my face, I stood up and went to my bedroom drawer. I took out a folder I had started weeks ago. It held every note I had written, every warning letter, every message screenshot, and every date. I opened my laptop. Then I called the credit company. A woman answered. Good afternoon. How may I help you? My name is Martha Okoye, I said. I received a notice. I need to discuss the charges on my account. She asked questions. I answered. She placed me on hold. Then she came back with a tone that was too serious. Mrs. Okoye, she said, your account has been used heavily in the past 3 months. The pattern suggests ongoing spending, not emergency support. I know, I said. I did not make those charges. There was a pause. Are you saying this is fraud? I took a breath. My finger hovered over my notes. If I say yes, it becomes serious. Police. Investigation. Court. If I say no, the debt stays on my head. I thought about Peter's voice. Mom, you have no idea what you just did. What did he mean? Was he just angry? Or was he hiding something bigger? I am saying, I replied slowly, that other people had access to these cards and used them without my permission. The woman said, then we will need a formal statement. Also, we may need to freeze all accounts permanently. They are already frozen, I said. Her voice softened slightly. Mrs. Okoye, can you come in tomorrow with proof and identification? Yes, I replied. I will come. When I ended the call, my phone buzzed again. This time it was not Peter or Naomi. It was my granddaughter, Mia. Mia, Grandma, please answer. Daddy is angry. Mommy is crying. We are in a place and they say we have to leave. My chest tightened. The children. My anger was for Peter and Naomi, but the children were not the enemy. I dialed Mia immediately. She answered in a shaky voice. Grandma, I'm here, I said gently. Are you okay? She sniffed. Mommy said you're wicked. I closed my eyes for a moment. Mia, I said softly, I am not wicked. I am protecting myself. Adults must not take what is not theirs. She was quiet. Then she whispered, Daddy is shouting at the man. People are looking. Listen, I said, keeping my voice warm. You hold Joel's hand. Stay close. Do not run. If you feel scared, go to a safe place near a grown-up worker. Okay, she whispered. Put your dad on the phone, I said. I heard movement. Then Peter's voice came, low and tight. What? Peter, I said, stop shouting. You brought your children into a place you cannot pay for. That is your shame, not mine. He breathed hard. So you want us sleeping outside? I want you to go home, I said. Go to your house. We can't, he snapped. My heart paused. What do you mean you can't? Naomi grabbed the phone, crying now. Mama, please, please don't ask. Just help us, please. I sat down slowly. My hand went to the legal notice on the table. Why can't you go home? I asked again, slowly, clearly. Peter's voice was barely a whisper now. Because, we don't have the house anymore. The room went silent around me, like all sound had been sucked away. What did you do? I asked. Peter's voice cracked. Mom, we used it. You used what? I asked, my voice suddenly sharp. The house, he said. We used the house as collateral. Collateral. That word hit harder than the legal notice. Because collateral means they did not just borrow small money. It means they gambled with their own roof. And if they lost, the children would lose too. I held the phone tightly. Peter, I said, tell me the truth right now. Who is coming for that house? I heard a man's voice in the background, loud and cold. Madam, tell them they have 15 minutes to clear the room, or security will remove their things. Then Peter said the words that made my blood go ice cold. Mom, it's not just the hotel. The people we owe are, not patient people. My front doorbell rang. Once. Twice. Slow, heavy rings. I looked toward my door, then back at the legal papers on my table. My phone was still against my ear, and Mia was crying in the background. I stood up, walking toward the door, and whispered, Peter, who exactly is outside my house right now? I stood still, staring at my front door as if it could answer me. The bell rang again. Slow, heavy, patient. Peter's breathing came through the phone, loud and uneven. Mom, he whispered, please don't open the door yet. That was all I needed to hear. Who is it? I asked, keeping my voice low. He did not answer right away. In the background, I heard Naomi crying and my grandchildren asking questions in small, scared voices. Peter, I said firmly, who is at my door? He swallowed. They're people from the loan company. What loan company? I asked. The private one, he said. Not the bank. My heart sank. There are banks, and then there are private lenders. One follows rules. The other follows pressure. You used my credit cards, I said slowly, and you also took a private loan. Yes, he admitted. We thought the cards would cover it, but when you cut them off, everything collapsed. I closed my eyes. This was bigger than comfort. This was danger. The bell rang a third time. I walked closer to the door, but I did not open it. I spoke through the wood. Who is there? A man's voice answered, calm and cold. Good afternoon, madam. We are looking for Peter Okoye. This is my house, I said. Peter does not live here. We know, the man replied. But your name appears on several documents connected to him. My chest tightened. My name. Yes, he said. We just want to talk. Behind me, my phone buzzed with another call. Naomi. I ignored it and focused on the door. You can leave your contact, I said. Any discussion will be done through my lawyer. There was a pause. Then the man laughed softly. Madam, lawyers are slow. We prefer faster solutions. That laugh told me everything. I am calling the police, I said. You can, he replied calmly. But by the time they arrive, we may already have what we need. My hands shook for the first time that day. I stepped away from the door and locked it. Then I went to the window and peeked through the curtain. 2 men stood outside. The same ones I saw earlier. No, these were different. Broader, sharper eyes. One leaned on my gate like he owned it. I moved back quickly. My phone rang again. Peter. Mom, he said, his voice breaking, please don't make this worse. Worse. I snapped. You dragged strangers to my house. You put my name on papers I never signed. And you tell me not to make it worse. We were desperate, Naomi cried through the phone. We just needed time. You had time, I said. You chose comfort instead. Silence. I took a breath and forced myself to think. Fear makes people weak. Thinking makes them strong. Listen carefully, I said. I am going to handle this my way. Peter sounded scared. How? I will not give them money, I said. And I will not open my door. But Mom, he pleaded, they won't leave. They will, I said. Because they have no legal power over me. That was partly true, and partly hope. I called my neighbor, Mrs. Adebayo, a retired police officer who still believed in order. Please come over, I told her. Now. Then I called my lawyer. He answered on the 3rd ring. Martha, he said. What's wrong? Everything, I replied. And I need you now. As I spoke, the men outside began to knock. Not ring. Knock. Hard. Each knock felt like a hammer in my chest. Open the door, madam, one of them called. We just want to talk. I stayed silent. The knocking stopped. Then something worse happened. I heard my gate open. Metal scraping metal. They're inside the compound, I whispered into the phone. My lawyer's voice sharpened. Call the police now. Do not engage. I dialed with shaking fingers. Before the call connected, my phone buzzed with a message. It was from an unknown number. Unknown. Mrs. Okoye, we don't want trouble. Convince your son to cooperate, or things will get uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. The same word Naomi used on me. I laughed once, bitter and sharp. I moved to my bedroom and locked the door. I pushed a chair against it like a child, then hated myself for doing it. The police dispatcher finally answered. I gave my address. I explained quickly. They are on their way, she said. The knocking returned, louder now. Angry. Madam, a voice shouted. You are making this difficult. Then my phone rang again. This time, it was not Peter. It was Mia. Grandma, she cried, Daddy is bleeding. My heart dropped. What? I shouted. What happened? He was shouting, she sobbed. A man pushed him. There's blood. I grabbed my keys, then stopped. If I leave my room, I face the men outside. If I stay, my son is hurt somewhere else. Where are you? I asked. At the hotel, she cried. The man said police are coming. Police. 2 places. 2 crises. My hands trembled as I sat on the edge of my bed. Then I heard something that froze my blood. A loud crack. Not knocking. Breaking. Wood splintering. Someone was forcing my front door open. I dropped the phone. Because the war they started over comfort had just entered my house. The sound of the door breaking felt like thunder inside my chest. I jumped to my feet and locked my bedroom door again, even though I already had. My heart was beating so fast it hurt. I could hear voices now. Real voices. Inside my house. Madam, one of the men called. We only want to talk. Talk. People who break doors do not want to talk. I grabbed my phone from the floor and crawled to the side of the bed. My hands were shaking so much I almost dropped it again. The police call was still open. They're inside, I whispered. They forced the door. Stay where you are, the dispatcher said. Officers are close. Close was not close enough. I could hear footsteps moving across my living room. One man laughed quietly. Another opened drawers. I heard glass clink. They were searching. For what? Papers. Money. Me. My phone buzzed again. Peter. I ignored it. Then Naomi called. I ignored that too. The next call was Mia again. I answered. Grandma, she cried, Daddy fainted. My knees almost gave way. Is he breathing? I asked. Yes, she said, but Mommy is screaming. Listen to me, I said, forcing calm into my voice. Put the phone down. Find a staff member. A uniform. Tell them your daddy needs help. She sniffed. Okay. The call ended. I leaned my head against the bed and closed my eyes for 1 second. This was not how life was supposed to look. All because 2 adults chose comfort over honesty. A loud bang came from the hallway. Check the rooms, one of the men said. Footsteps came closer. My bedroom door handle rattled. I held my breath. Locked, a voice said. Open it. The handle shook harder. Madam, the man called, his voice suddenly smooth, you are making this worse than it needs to be. I did not answer. The door shook again, harder this time. Then suddenly, another voice shouted from outside. Police. Step away from the door. The shaking stopped. I heard running. Fast footsteps. A curse. Then silence. I stayed frozen, not trusting the quiet. After a moment, someone knocked. Not hard. Controlled. Madam, a new voice said. Police. You can open. I opened the door slowly. 2 officers stood in my hallway. One held a radio. The other scanned the room. They ran, the officer said. Jump the fence when we arrived. My legs felt weak. I sat on the bed. They broke in, I said quietly. We can see that, he replied, looking at the damaged door. Do you know them? No, I said. But they came because of my son. The officer nodded. We'll take a statement. As they spoke, my phone rang again. Peter. I answered this time. Mom, he cried, his voice broken, I messed up. Yes, I said. You did. They took my phone, he said. I borrowed another one. The hotel called an ambulance. I'm at the hospital now. I closed my eyes. Are you alive? Yes, he whispered. Good, I said. Because this does not end today. Naomi's voice came on the line, shaking. Mama, please, please forgive us. I looked at the police officers standing in my broken home. I looked at the papers on my table. I looked at the life I built with patience and sacrifice. Forgiveness comes after truth, I said. And after responsibility. After the officers left, my neighbor Mrs. Adebayo came in and hugged me tight. You were brave, she said. I was tired, I replied. That night, I did not sleep. I sat at my dining table with every paper spread out. Credit statements, loan notices, messages, dates. By morning, I knew something important. The private lenders did not just want money. They wanted leverage. And Peter had given them my name. At sunrise, my lawyer called. Martha, he said, this is serious. Very serious. I know, I replied. There are forged signatures, he continued. Your son signed documents in your name. The room felt cold. That is fraud, he said. Criminal fraud. I closed my eyes slowly. This was no longer about teaching a lesson. This was about saving lives. Do what needs to be done, I said. At that same moment, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Unknown. Police will not always be there. This ends today. Choose wisely. Then another message came, this time from Naomi. Naomi. Mama, they took the children. My heart stopped. I stood up so fast my chair fell over. What do you mean they took the children? I whispered into the empty room. Before I could type back, my phone rang. It was Peter. His voice was screaming now. Mom, they took Mia and Joel. They said it's because of the debt. The world tilted. Because comfort had turned into terror. And the next choice I made could either save my grandchildren or destroy what was left of my family. I did not scream. I did not faint. I sat down slowly, because panic would not save my grandchildren. Thinking would. Peter, I said into the phone, my voice firm even though my heart was shaking, listen to me carefully. They took them, Mom. He cried. They said if we don't pay today. Stop, I said. Crying will not help Mia and Joel. Listening will. He went quiet. I took a deep breath. Where are you right now? At the hospital, he said. Naomi is here. She's screaming. Put the phone on speaker, I said. Both of you need to hear this. I heard Naomi sobbing, then silence. This is what we are going to do, I said slowly. You are not paying anyone. Not 1 naira, not $1. But they said. They are lying, I said. People who kidnap children want fear. Fear makes parents make bad choices. Naomi cried louder. Mama, please, they will hurt them. They will not, I said firmly. Not if we act smart. I picked up the other phone and called my lawyer. Then I called Mrs. Adebayo. Then I called the police officer who had given me his number the night before. Within minutes, my house was full again. Police. Phones ringing. Calm voices asking clear questions. I handed the phone to the officer. Tell him everything, he told Peter. Peter did. The officer nodded. This is not a loan company, he said. This is a small group that scares people. They rely on silence. Where are my grandchildren? I asked. We will find them, he said. But you must trust us. I did. Because for the first time, I was not protecting Peter. I was protecting Mia and Joel. The police traced the messages. They traced the calls. They traced the car scene at the hotel. 2 hours felt like 2 years. Then my phone rang. The officer answered it. Yes, he said. We have them. My knees gave way. Are they alive? I asked, my voice barely there. Yes, he said. They are scared, but safe. I covered my mouth and cried. Not quiet tears this time. Real ones. The children had been taken to an empty house. No chains. No harm. Just fear. Fear used like a weapon. Peter and Naomi arrived at my house later that evening. They looked smaller, older, broken. Peter fell to his knees in front of me. I'm sorry, Mom, he cried. I ruined everything. Yes, I said. You did. Naomi tried to speak, but I raised my hand. Stop, I said. This is not about apologies anymore. They looked up at me, afraid. You used my name, I continued. You used my credit. You lied. You risked your children's lives for comfort. They said nothing. I loved you, I said. But love does not mean silence. The police officer stepped forward. Mrs. Okoye has decided to cooperate fully, he said. The fraud charges will move forward. Naomi gasped. Mama. Peter stared at me like he did not know who I was. This is the life lesson, I said calmly. If I protect you from the truth, I teach you nothing. Peter's voice broke. So you're turning me in. I am saving your children, I replied. And maybe your soul. Mia and Joel ran into the room then. Grandma, they cried. I held them tight. That night, the truth became public. The cards, the debts, the lies. Peter faced the law, Naomi faced her family, and I faced myself. I sold nothing. I lost nothing. Because I had already cut off the one thing destroying us. The credit line. Weeks later, my house was quiet again. I sat on my sofa, the same one they once said was too comfortable. I smiled. Here is the lesson. Never let people guilt you into suffering so they can enjoy comfort. Kindness without boundaries becomes danger. And sometimes, the strongest love is the one that says, no more.